Hello guys, and welcome back to another video here on my YouTube channel. This time it's not a speed build. It's a renovation of one of the eco-living houses. It's the Rockridge Springs, if I remember correctly. And at the beginning you see me having a hard time figuring out the upstairs layout. The inspiration for this renovation is a family one streamer plays with on stream. His name is Gitania. Would call him a friend, to be honest. we hang out a lot in our streams. And he actually never played Sims before. His girlfriend did, and all Chad and his girlfriend were like, play it on stream, play it on stream. And then he made a family with a Bob Ross and a guy who's good at cooking. And that's the inspiration for this house. So my goal was to have at least one easel, 2 bedrooms, and have a big, nice kitchen for the guy who's cooking. He also has a dog and a cat, so we also need stuff for them to do. And yeah, here you see me just ripping the whole house apart, basically, and figuring out the whole layout. Here I was putting a bar in. What I like to do with kitchen is putting a bar in like a wall or separator. So you have one wall on each side and in the middle you have a bar. That's what I tried with these bar. In terms of packs, I was kind of limited because he doesn't have all packs. I ended up weren't able to use all expansion packs and a few stuff and gameplay packs. I think by accident I actually used one pack he didn't have or don't have. Has English, you know, I love English. And that's Tiny Living for the bar stools. Yeah, exactly these bar stools. But in the end, I'm kind of happy how this renovation turned out. The house is maybe a little pricey for 2 Sims. It's, I think, around 60k. But hey, sometimes it be like that, I guess. But I'm happy how the renovation turns out. We have a backyard, you will see later, and we have a kind of like toned down house. Nothing too crazy, even though one of the guys is an artist. You just saw me struggling with the red fridge because I was like, at the beginning, we need to get some color in here. And then I was like, but I already used the pastel bluish green fridge in another build, and the red is too much in your face. And so I really turned it down with this light brownish color. So yeah, this house is really more turned down. Here's a few pet stuff, and the kitchen also. We got a dining table in the middle because at one point I was like, wait, I totally forgot the dining table. Here I was trying to fit the how was the pack called? Jungle Adventure, right? The Jungle Adventure table in, because I was like, hey, the whole kitchen is Jungle Adventure. Why don't just make the whole kitchen out of Jungle Adventure? But the table was too big, so I used the cats and dogs table, which also fits in, and I need to use cats and dogs anyways for all the bowls and the dog beds or animal beds or whatever. Here you see me cluttering this whole thing. And besides talking about the build, I selected a topic to talk about in this video. And the topic is gaming for non-gamers. Let's call it like this. So for example, Gitania never played... I'm not sure if he never played Sims in general before, or if he never played Sims 4. I think he never played Sims in general. And seeing him struggling, also there I was trying to hide a corner where I didn't put a roof on. I think it does it work? But it's good enough for me. Back to the topic I was talking about. It's kind of funny to see him struggle because a lot of things are just like yeah, just like normal for me or easy to understand, and a girl is struggling finding the right controls or finding where something is in the build and buy mode. I told him go in the build and buy mode, and he was like, what's build and buy mode? So a lot of things which are like normal or fundamental for us who play The Sims daily or played The Sims before are not that common or easily understandable for people who don't play these games or who don't play games at all. At one point, I think I saw a video series on YouTube. It's kind of, how you call it? I think it's kind of popular. Is that the right word? I hope it is. Sorry, my English today is just like brain dead. But I think the series was that a guy who plays video games has a wife who doesn't play video games, and he was like, yeah, try it, and let her play the games alone without his help. And a lot of things which were like obvious for people who play a lot weren't that obvious for people who maybe never played games before. Just to cut into the speed build, here you see something I like to do when I have like a seam between wood flooring and tiling. Just get the spade things you can find in the pool section and putting them over the seam. Hides it perfectly, and I really love it. But back to the topic. I think a good example kinda is like the good old famous Mario game, where you just get thrown into a level without any explanations, and you kinda learn just from a Goomba spawning in, or a question mark block, how you walk, how you jump, that you can die, that you can kill other things, etc, etc. In terms of designing, this Mario level is amazing. We also talked about this in uni. If you don't know, hi, I'm Phil. I studied games programming for the last 2 years. I have a diploma and a Bachelor of Science in it, and I'm currently doing my master's and specializing in like VR and AR development. And we also had a module in one of the first semesters talking about this whole game design thing, how to game design, what's a game design document, etc, etc. And our professor actually said that this Mario level is a very good example for how to game design, and he's right. He's goddamn right. Nintendo did a good job back then. Yeah, but I think sometimes it's like, how do you... That's a question I ask myself a lot, because I'm not also a programmer, I'm also like kind of a game designer. Never was like, oh, I want to be a game designer. I always was like, oh, I want to be a programmer. But in all the past projects in uni I made, I always was the game designer. Kind of strange, but okay. I love thinking about mechanics and all that stuff. But that's also a question I ask myself a lot. How do I put things into the game, or how do I design games so people can easily understand what to do? And there's always the problem with, oh, for you it's obvious it works like this, but then people test it and you didn't told them how things are supposed to work, and they struggle, and you think like, oh, but it's so obvious. Yeah, for you, because you developed it or you thought about it, but not for all people. And that's kind of like a struggle to make a feature or to design games like everyone is like, oh yeah, I totally understand how the movement works, or how this mechanic works, or something. Also, in terms of ranting about games, on my Twitch channel, if you don't know me and this is the first video you saw of me and you're still here, hi. I actually started on Twitch and just swapped over to YouTube and made some commentary and one only YouTube Let's Play, which is Tomodachi Life, if that makes any sense. Sorry, I hit a mic by accident. And I always rant about a lot of games while playing these games. For example, I think the majority of me playing Minecraft Dungeon was actually me ranting. Talking today is very hard. Is me ranting about Minecraft Dungeons. So yeah, if you want to see that, head over to my Twitch channel. Here you see me, to cut back into the speedboat, here you see me figuring out what I could do with the hallway because it was so empty and you just needed something in the hallway. And then I was like, wait, they also have laundry day. Let's add a laundry room. And then I built this little laundry room. And then in a second, I think, I realized, wait, we don't have a litter box. So I also realized, hey, the rooms I want to make the same size aren't the same size. And in a second I was like, wait, we also need a litter box. Well, And then I just put in some here. I was like, wait, we need a litter box. And then I just was putting like dog beds and cat beds or animal beds upstairs, so the animals also can sleep in your room. I originally was planning to give them 2 animal beds in their bedrooms, but but the bedrooms kind of turned out too little to do that. And then the backyard. Very, very important when you have animals. And I basically kind of did that what Gert also did with the rings for the dog and the, how do you call it, the tube they can walk through. And I also added a little barbecue and a few lounging chairs. And also the exterior. I at first wanted to go with the original wallpaper, but then the typical wallpaper with columns, you know, the typical struggle with the columns being placed strangely and where you need the columns, they aren't placed, so I just placed them myself and used a plain wallpaper. Also, one thing I wanted to achieve with this build is not to bulldoze this whole lot and build something completely new. I really wanted to renovate the shell because I still wanted the house to fit in. I don't want your typical EA shoebox, but I still wanted the house to fit in with the neighborhood, so I added a few little bump outs to make it a little bit more interesting, but not to stand out too much so it doesn't fit into the neighborhood anymore. Because to be honest, this whole neighborhood is just like shoebox next to shoebox next to shoebox, which is kind of sad. So like interesting house shapes or something, not here, when you still fit into the neighborhood. But hey, sometimes it's like that. I also realized there are a lot of pine trees around, more than any other tree type, and there I go with the terrain paint. I always feel like me and terrain paint is like me and blush. I don't know how to use blush, that's why I don't use it, but when I use it, I always over blush myself. And I feel the same way with the terrain paint. Like, every time I use it, it's too much. Also, I haven't playtested this yet, so Gert can playtest it on his stream. Have fun, Gert. But I think a lot of things will work. The only thing I really crammed is like the bee farm and the insect farm, so the 2 farms in the corner you just saw me placing a few seconds ago. And there is me over blushing the whole lot again. Hey! I don't know, me and terrain paint is just like, yeah. And I think we also shortly about to go into the screenshots. Well, my PC just decided to get into a standby mode. Here I'm just placing some columns because, like I said before, I was like, oh, yeah, just too empty, and yeah. Then I realized I forgot the upstairs balcony, and here we are into the screenshots. I hope you guys like the house. I really love how it turned out. Maybe a little pricey, but still fitting in, still looking nice, suiting the good needs for his family. If you want to download the house, you can find my Sims ID down in the description below, as well as all my social media links. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next time or in my stream. Stay safe and have a good day. Bye!